Today we're diving into something very deep and very critical for many business owners. I'm going to be taking you from the whole process of getting a business from offline to online from complete ground zero. This will help you to rescue and relaunch your business from the ground up without needing any previous knowledge about social media, ads or anything related. So let's dive right in. So let's start by addressing the actual issues and the reality of being offline if you're a business in 2025. Well, this can be quite a major thing because, as we know, many businesses have thrived and have completely started up because of social media, because of being online, because of ads really. So this is something that is very critical, and if it's something that you can get right and that you can master, I believe it can be a very, very powerful tool and something that is super key to launching a successful business, but not just launching it, making it go from complete ground zero all the way to extraordinary heights like you couldn't believe. So please do not underestimate the power of the social media and the ads, the online space that we're going to be covering today is something that many business owners do kind of overlook and aren't too invested in, when really they should be focusing their attention and more of their time towards it, because that could help propel them further and give them better results than what they could ever imagine of just staying offline and using word of mouth referrals. If you are a physical location like a small business, maybe in a local area, then the challenges to that can be that you have low footfall and of course decreasing customers that come into your shop, come into your restaurant or whatever it may be. So this is something that is really critical because the fierce online competition will just wash you out and you will be nowhere to be seen. So understanding these next things that I'm going to be talking about in this video is very critical. But we're not talking about overhauling your online competition or anything like that. You do not need to be a tech wizard to get anything like this running and off the ground. And this is something where targeting and category targeting comes in really, really key. And this is where the power of meta ads slide into this whole equation. If you've heard of the terms Facebook, Instagram, maybe you're on both on your personal or for a business, and you've heard meta and you're kind of thinking, what does this all mean? Like, what's it all about really? Well, this is kind of what I'm going to be covering now. So meta ads are extremely powerful, and I'm sure you've been told a lot about these by online people that talk about this all the time and that sort of idea. But here I'm going to talk you through why they're actually powerful, and then I'm going to talk you through how to use them as well. The first reason is hyper-targeting. They allow you to contact people who are interested in the business, who are local in the area, who have actually interacted with the business before. What does this mean? Why is it important? Well, it allows you to target your ICP, which is Ideal Client or Customer Profile, and this lets you target and get to those people that only matter, because if you're selling vintage cars and you're reaching people that are only interested in the new modern cars, then what good is that doing? So by being allowed to hyper target your customer, either by location, by what they're interested in, by their sort of interest in your business, that is a true game changer, as it really does allow you to explore all the opportunities with the correct people, and that really is the key thing. By reaching everyone, you don't really get anywhere. You need to reach the right people at the right time, when they have a pain point, when they're ready to purchase, when they're ready to come to your business for a resolution or for a solution to the problem they're facing currently. The second reason is that it's actually quite budget friendly. You can set whatever daily budget you would like, as meta ads run per day and they charge an amount on a card per day. So you can set that to be £1 a day, £500 a day, whatever you feel is comfortable and what you're comfortable spending with for the business. So that is another great advantage. It allows you to be flexible with your budget and you can kind of spend whatever you think is appropriate. The third benefit is actually you can get a direct response. So other advertising campaigns may not allow you to contact the business straight away or head over to your website or something along those lines. But by using meta ads, it allows you to either call the business straight away. There's options to get quotes or start a form, fill out a form, and then the business contacts them from there. If you're more like a service-based business, that's where that would be used. But yeah, it allows direct responses, so they can either call you, they can visit your website, they can learn more about a certain product or product page, and that is another great advantage. It allows you to get those people to take the next step, rather than just seeing your name, seeing your product and not being able to do anything with the information. The fourth benefit is probably the biggest one. It allows you to have full control, so you don't need any fancy CRMs or anything of that nature that you need to outsource externally or use any other softwares. In there you have the lead follow-up tools, and there's many things that I'll talk you through later on in this video, but that is another huge advantage and probably the biggest one. You have full control over everything. But before you launch any ads, you have to look at things and examine things closely. So for example, what are your current marketing efforts? If you're not currently online, which is the idea if you're watching this video, maybe you're putting out physical banners or posters around the town or around the village, the city you live, and is that working for you? What results is that getting you? What sort of picture have you put on the poster? What is working and what is definitely not working? That is what we need to look at first. You need to simplify your message. You need to say what your business offers and why the people that you're offering it to should actually care about going with your business and not some other competitor that is massively growing online, unlike the business you're currently running, as that is what we're looking to do in this video. Get your business online from the ground zero. And just make sure that your basic business info is sorted. So location, hours, price range, anything of that nature. Just make sure people know exactly what you offer, how you offer it, and why they should care, but what actually sets you apart, because that is a very key thing. You know, what is very different about you, what is different about your offer compared to someone else's that's already got a massive audience online. What makes people want to go to that offer and not the one that they're seeing on the internet. But don't rush this part. The clearer your foundation is, the better your ads will perform, because you understand what your target market is, what they need, what pain points they're experiencing, how to target them correctly, either by their category, by their location, by if they've already had shown interest in your business, you know how to contact them directly or in the most appropriate manner using your ads. So the better your foundation, the more you understand about your ICP, the more you understand about your customer, your marketing efforts, what's working, what isn't, the better your ads will perform. Now we need to craft your offer. Your offer needs to have a clear outcome and a clear desired result that the customer or the potential client wants to get. So for example, the agency, I ran the 8 free highly qualified leads, so they were all completely for free. Once I generated them, we didn't ask for any sort of commission or any percentage out of them whatsoever. They were all completely for free, and that was obviously people were very interested in that. And for the ones that did go through, the ones that did actually want to work with the agencies, of course, when you do cold outreach or emails or cold calls, you're always going to get rejections. That is just part of the process. But for the ones who were interested, we did manage to get them 8 free highly qualified leads within the first week. So that was a great result for my first potential client, and that was something that I was very happy and actually quite proud of. So moving on, like I said, your foundation needs to be important and it needs to be well understood and well thought through. So what's your offer going to be? Is it going to be a free trial? Is it going to be a commission-based trial? Because a commission-based trial is really, really good. You know, they work really well because the potential client, the customer, sees that as only if I get paid, then you get paid as well, and that is something that is really, really great. So for example, an electrician. Let's say they've booked a job and you know you got that job for them and they pay you a percentage of the job, of the result, of the cost that it actually took to make and allow that job to happen. And that is something that they will really like because they only see the results and then you get paid after they see those results. So there's no sort of risk on their end. You run the ads for them. If they get a job, you get paid as well. If not, that's kind of how it goes. But yeah, so commission-based offers, do not think that, oh, even though I'm getting paid, they might not want to actually give me a percentage. Well, because if they win, you get a percentage of it, then of course they're going to be open to that. So commission-based trials are a really, really great option, and I would actually highly recommend using that. It needs to be irresistible, simple, clear and effective. It also needs to have a next clear action step. So once they've read the ad, once they've learned more or tried to book a quote, what is the actual next step from there? Do you contact them? Do they contact you? Is there something else they need to do before they go to the purchase stage or the learn more stage? So it needs to have a very clear outcome of what is the actual next step to take after I've seen the ad. So now I'm going to talk you through how to actually set up a meta ad, and if you like a live computer screen version of that, I'm just going to briefly talk you over the process now, because if you are an offline business, maybe you're going to be outsourcing this to an agency or an external company. So that's why I'm going to briefly talk you over it so you understand the key components and how it sort of works. But if you want a more in-depth walkthrough on a laptop screen so you can see actually a full meta ad in itself, please let me know and I'll be more than happy to make that video for you. But when it comes to setting up the ad, it needs to have a clear objective. So you click on create new campaign and you've got traffic, leads, purchases, sales, etc. So it's really important that you know what you want. Do you want to get more leads? Do you want to get more purchases if you're like an e-commerce store or an online brand? What sort of is your target and your aim? So if you're an electrician, your target would be to get more leads. Is it going to be more people to book quotes or more people to contact for future jobs? But you need to pick your outcome, so either leads, sales, more engagement, more reach is also an option. So it needs to be clear about what it is that you're looking to do. Next, we're going to categorize by location or by interest, hobbies, etc. So location, if you're a local business that only provides to sort of areas around you, maybe you're a takeaway or maybe you're a restaurant or a car detailing business, whatever it may be, you need to target by the location. So you go into your meta ad, you go further down, there's a tab called location, you click onto that, enter the location. Maybe you're somewhere in London, somewhere in Manchester, but you put around the local areas, and you can also select a radius in that area. So if you selected Birmingham, for example, you can select an 80-mile radius, a 10-mile radius around the area, and you can see it on the visual as well, which shows you the circumference, the location of where you're targeting. So that's how you target by location, because obviously if you're a takeaway, you can't be providing to people in Scotland if you're down by in London. So it's really important to target by location, but also by interest or hobbies. This can only work for certain business types. For people like electricians or plumbers, people that are interested in plumbing don't necessarily need plumbing. It could just be anyone, if that makes sense. But for the people, if you're selling old vintage cars, that is something that will work very, very well for category and interest targeting, to target by the old vintage cars, ones that people see go up in value, the ones that sell for a higher price than what they originally bought for, which is quite a rarity in cars. So that is something that you need to bear in mind if you're like a sort of service base, or you're a plumber or electrician. Targeting by interest or hobbies probably will not work for you, because people that are interested in, like I said, being an electrician, not necessarily needing a job done. Anyone could need a job done if you're a plumber or electrician. So bearing that in mind is really important. But by the hobbies, if it's like old vintage cars you're selling or car detailing, that is something that can actually work very well. So bear that in mind when targeting with location and with category or interests. Keep your ad visuals simple but relatable, because when they are complex and people can't really read them well, that is not a great start. So by keeping them simple, they also need to be relatable. So showing emotion, maybe that's through a person or through perhaps an animal if you're like a pet shop or something like that. But showing emotion also works very well because it connects with the customer more. But keeping it simple as well, you don't want to overcrowd it with loads of information. You know, you've got 500 offers on every single slide. But the ad visual is kind of the part that the customer will see. So whether it's a photo or a video, and then you also have your caption as well. That's the copywriting part of it. So it's also important to optimize for the copyright, because people will read the caption and not just going to look at the video or the photo and sort of sign up or take the next step from there. So optimizing your copyright is important as well. Your action button, which is the button that is highlighted in blue if you're on Facebook, needs to be relevant but also clear to the prospect about what it is that the next step they need to take is. So if you're an electrician, maybe your blue action button will be called Get Quote, and that is simple. Then maybe they'll go to fill out a form where you'll contact them for a quote, or there's some sort of other way you do it. Maybe it's by leading them to your website, whatever that may be. Make sure your action button, it can either be learn more or buy now or purchase, something like that. Make sure it's appropriate and it is also relevant to your business. This next part is for the businesses that are mainly optimizing for leads, because they worry about following up with them, or they have to follow up with every single one manually, especially if you're something like an e-commerce store or something of that nature. Now, people worry they have to actually follow up with the leads manually, they're not going to have enough time to do all of that. Well, the very key thing is in the Meta platform, it's so simple if you optimize it, where they tick a box for Messenger, if they fill out a form, it gives you their details on Messenger, and from there you can continue the conversation. For those who don't know, Messenger is very much like WhatsApp. It's just a place where you can text back and forth to the potential customer, to the prospect. So by optimizing for that and making sure that you have a natural follow-up sequence that can really help. So I'll tell you how to do that now. If you go into the Meta Business Suite or business.facebook.com, on there you will go to settings and then automations, and you can turn the Instagram DMs and the messenger reply on, which will be on instant reply. From there you enter your message, whatever that may be. You can also add customized characters. So if you want to put hi, and then it gives you a link to the first name of the prospect's name, and then from there you can customize it throughout, and you just may say something along the lines of, thanks for reaching out, what job are you looking to have done please? If you're an electrician, something that simple really can work. So you don't need any fancy CRMs or external softwares to get this set up. It's something so simple, but it's really effective, and will save you a lot of time following up on people that are interested in your business. That is how to do that. You just go into automations, go on instant reply, Instagram and Messenger, make sure you turn them both on. From there you enter your message of what it is that you would like to say when they text you, and that is simply that. That is how you follow up with a lead with no time wasted, and it saves you a lot of time in the future. But reviving a business from offline to online will take time and consistency. You can't expect all of this to happen and all this to work within like one day or 1 week. You need to pursue it, you need to work hard at it, you need to be disciplined in it. So change your targeting, whether that's by location, by category, if it's needed to. Monitor your ad results daily or weekly, and stay patient and persistent, because even when you're starting from ground zero, if you apply these things correctly and you stay consistent with it, you will start to see results. This builds the momentum and allows you to grow online further. So that is kind of it. That's the video, that's your blueprint. If you would like me to go into any more detail about any of these things that I've mentioned in the video, either by an online laptop walkthrough of, for example, a meta ad, or something else that I've mentioned you thought, I'm not quite sure what that is, could he make a video explaining that in a bit more detail or in a lot more detail, I'll be more than happy to do that. Let me know in the comments, or Instagram DM me, TikTok DM me, anything, any sort of way you can contact me. Please feel free, I'll be more than happy to make a YouTube video about that. So that is kind of the video, that's the blueprint. I'll thank you very much for watching. Remember to take it one step at a time, and I will see you in the next one.